Welcome to my channel. As the title suggests, I bought a property as a teenager where I'm planning to build a cabin to go fishing out of. So I originally found the property online after scouring the internet through multiple websites, multiple postings. I actually bought this property about a month after my 17th birthday. So I looked at it and in talks for this property when I was still 16. And I actually went out and visited a separate property before this, which had some access issues, which is the reason why I went with this one. So I also visited this one beforehand, and there's paved roads all the way up to about a quarter mile out and turns to gravel roads. Super easy access, and it's actually a double lot. So it's actually 2 lots deep. The lot itself is roughly a quarter acre. It's 10,000 square feet total, and it's a 50-foot by 200-foot lot. But it definitely feels much larger just from the surrounding area. Since I did buy this property as a teenager, I couldn't legally put it under my name directly. So my mom came out with me and met up with the seller at a lawyer's office where the lawyer handled all the paperwork, made sure everything was good to go. Then we walked over to the courthouse and filed all the paperwork, got everything finalized. The story behind the property is that the previous owner had this property, which he intended to build out as a rental unit, and another property nearby where he planned to build his home. But he ran into financial troubles, so he decided to cut his losses, sold his other property, and then sold this property to me. The property is off-grid right now because there really aren't any utilities hooked up. However, there are 2 telephone poles near the street at the front of the property where there's the opportunity to hook up to electrical and fiber optic for internet as well. There's also water available, but I would have to pay them to come get the hookup and dig out a trench. So for the moment, I'm going to keep it off-grid, especially since I'm not going to be there very much out of the year, so I'm not going to have to pay for those utilities while I'm not there. Also, the previous owner had poured out concrete footings and started to assemble a base for his rental unit out of 2x6s. He assembled this subfloor with decking screws, so I knew immediately that a lot of that had to be reinforced and a lot of stuff added there, but the wood itself was still good and would cost quite a bit if I went out to the lumber yard. Now I'll go over my plan of how I'm planning to turn this place into a full cabin. As the foundation for my cabin sits from what the previous owner did, it's basically a big rectangle, 16 feet on one end, 36 feet on the other end, and there are concrete footers everywhere where you see these circles. Now, my plan for this cabin is to utilize this space here. So these are all going to be the exterior walls. That way, where these footings are is going to be the corner of the cabin, and I don't have to re-pour them, and they'll sit pretty well. Now, these dimensions are obviously off, but leave that up to my shoddy handwriting / drawing. On the other end, we're gonna have a 12-foot deck, which we're gonna leave that for later, at least for now, and focus on the cabin. As far as interior walls go, on the inside of the cabin, there's going to be 2 interior walls. So they're load bearing on that concrete footer, and it's gonna make up a bedroom on the inside of the cabin. Now, as far as doors go in this cabin, there are going to be 2 main doors. There's going to be a sliding door here out onto the deck. Then there's also going to be a front door on this end right here. There's also going to be an interior door right here leading into that bedroom. Now, moving on to the windows. There's going to be a window right here. There's also going to be 2 windows on this end on either side. Now I will make this a little bit more proper by doing that. Now that's still a sliding door. It's also a big window, so I'm just gonna leave it. Now this is the overall plan for the layout of the cabin. Again, the foundation, as far as the wood goes, is all gonna get reinforced, and then the walls are just gonna be built up off of that. So the final dimensions, it's gonna be 16 feet by 24 feet. Then we're gonna have that deck, which we're gonna deal with it when we get there, after we get the cabin all roofed in and sealed up from the elements. When I think about how I'm gonna utilize this cabin, obviously this is gonna be a bedroom. Now I wanted to split up this area into kind of 3 other sections. So this section here is gonna be more of a kitchen area. Hopefully get some sort of cabinets, that type of thing going on there, somewhere where you can cook food. This area is going to be more of a dining room. So table, chairs, somewhere you could eat food from the kitchen without having to go too far. And then this last area is going to be a living room of sorts. So you can have hopefully a couch, maybe a TV setup, that type of thing. So, and then obviously this is going to be a deck. And that's how the cabin is gonna look. As far as stairs and everything after that, we'll get there when we get there. Over here there's probably gonna be some stairs and something off of the deck as well. And if I really have time and materials, I might end up adding a porch here on the front, but again, that just comes down to time. This is the overall plan for my cabin. If you have any suggestions, be sure to drop them in the comments section. I'll be reading through all of those, and be sure to follow along. Make sure you don't miss out on any of my future progress. Make sure you subscribe and like these videos if you enjoy them. I'm going to be posting a lot more now that I have this property, and I'm going to be building up this cabin. So be sure to subscribe and follow along.